Hey guys, welcome back. What do you think? Protect the player? Protect the investor? Protect the store? It is a reprint conversation and it's coming up next. Hey guys, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to the channel and you somehow found me out there in YouTube land, thanks a lot for checking out my content today. We're going to have a conversation today about reprint. Should they be reprinting our cards? With all these reserve list buyouts going on in the market right now, you start realizing that a lot of the cards that can be reprinted have been reprinted and have lost a lot of value over the years. And in some cases, we may have paid full price for those cards and they tank in price. I have a few examples of cards that have gone up, gone down, the questions behind it. For a lot of people, they consider Magic an investment. They consider these cards worth, in some cases, millions of dollars. And if somebody has a standard deck and it's worth big bucks and a modern deck worth thousands of dollars because the card's held within it, you don't want to see those cards reprinted because you paid full price and they go down in value. It makes you wonder, does Wizards have a responsibility to protect your investment? If you're a part of a company and I buy stock in that company, they are responsible for protecting my investment to a degree. They can't make bad decisions and bad choices because then the stock plummets. So I can see how Wizards is probably trying to manage some of the reprinting for their own benefit, which, kind of helps us as players. But they are definitely watching the secondary market because certain cards just aren't being reprinted right now, are they? Cobble Coffers is still waiting out there. We don't have that card, do we? Right? So I thought I'd show a few examples. A few cards I thought were interesting to see. Now, a lot of these are cards I own. That's why I kind of looked them up. Now, in the case here of Rustic Study, Rustic Study is still selling for 25 bucks, you can see, right? And when you look over here and you see the actual highs and lows, it's been as low as $2, as high as 28. And right now it's on that high mark. So you'd think it would get reprinted. Now, when Wizards right now has been reprinting cards, they're reprinting for their benefit. They're printing full art versions to make you want to pay more. But there's nothing stopping them from reprinting it again as a full art version with the exact same artwork. So that's my question. Do they have a responsibility to maybe reprint it with different artwork only? So when you get that particular version of that particular artwork, they can never reuse it for that card. I'm curious about that. Or how about a black border versus a white border? I wonder if they should maybe be doing all the new reprinted cards, only get white border, protecting the investment of the original card and its original integrity. I'm just curious. I'd love to see what you guys think about that. Now, another card I thought was interesting was Karn, Scion of Urza. Came out in Dominaria, and I love this card. He has been as high as 68, 67. He's been as low as $7.08. Right now, he's selling for about that $10 mark, and you can see on here that he's been really high. Now, I remember in the backdrop here, I've got a PSA 10. I was so proud of it. I paid like $85. I was like, yay! But he's only a $7 card now. He's an $8 card. It's not a foil version, it's just PSA 10. So I lost most of my value on that card. Sure, he's slabbed, I get that. But for the most part, I've lost tons of value off that particular card. Now, in my case, I don't mind too much. I wanted to have the card, but many people would say, I paid $60 for that card. He's now $7. I lost 85% of the value of my card. In some cases, if that happened in a company, that means the stock basically went to zero on that card, right? Or in that particular stock. So, and I mean, he hasn't been reprinted tons, but either was Rustic Study. Rustic Study's been out in a couple of sets. I think the last time was Jumpstart. And Karn here has only come out in a few special editions right now, not a new core set like Ugin did. So Ugin's price crashed down to about half, and he's slowly drifting up as the stuff gets eaten up. But that's mainly because Core 2021 is not selling that well. So you're not opening tons of the new Ugin up. It may help it later in the long run. But when they print it inside a regular set or specialty sets, only cost you 40, 50 bucks and you get this cool specialty and you get Karn, it keeps the price suppressed, it appears. Because he has not really risen at all. And I find that interesting because other cards have been less affected by reprints. But I guess it depends on when they reprint it, how much time it's had to clear the stock base, right? So, Ancestral Vision, I have 4 of these from Time Spiral, the original. It's been reprinted even into a dual deck, and it never recovered after that dual deck printing. It's also been in other series, and you see it drop from a high of $45 down to $4.50. Most people would be flipping out. That's a 90% stock loss. If you're a person who was buying into these at like $10, $12, $14, $18, you bought 50, 60 copies because you considered it an investment, and it gets reprinted and people say, it's a card, they're going to reprint it, and you just lost $2,000 in cards. You're going to be upset. So should they protect the original printing? Should they never be allowed to foil it again? Should it only be able to come out in a full art version protecting the original version? I don't know. I'm just curious to see what players think about that and what solutions people can come up with in this conversation we're having, if any. Some people would say, no, there's got to be no solution. Wizards can do what they want. They can reprint the cards. And that is understandable from Wizards' point of view. They got to make money on these cards, guys, to keep the game going. But for the investment side, a lot of people would say, you got to protect my investment. I did a poll today, guys. You guys saw it. It clearly stated so far, people think they should do more to protect some of these older versions of non-reserve list cards. Not stop printing them, just make it a little more protected. So the next one I want to show you guys is Maelstrom. Now, Maelstrom Pulse here, you can see the high was $27.99. It was slowly drifting up, but now the low is $3.13. And right now you can see in the sales section, $2, $7, $8, depending on the version it's at. And the high was much higher at one point. Again, if somebody bought this card and held on to it, they've gotten creamed. Okay, and some people need it for their decks and they don't care. But somebody who's trying to invest in the product, when people invest in this game, they're showing Wizards it has value, so Wizards takes the time to research and create new cards and new values and new formats for those cards. If we just didn't care and these cards were all $1, it'd be like playing decks, right? And they wouldn't really have a lot of value, I guess. I don't know. But I look at it and say, in my head, I feel really bad if somebody got nailed for $27 a card when it dropped down to $3 or $4 and it's drifted lower and lower and lower. I would feel bad for that person. I would feel bad for me if I was a person trying to buy copies of a card and it gets reprinted 6 months later. Because we don't know when a reprint schedule for a card comes out. They just announce it in a specialty set, right? They don't put it in regular sets usually. They put it out, I don't know, Times Power Remastered. Time McGraw will come back, right? I mean, examples. Very interesting. And then in one edition, for a while, to differentiate alpha and beta, when they did Unlimited and revised, all the way through until I think it was 9th edition, 8th edition, they had white bordered cards to show the difference in the season of card, right? They don't really do white bordered anymore, right? They just don't do it. And you know, we see giant growth there on the screen. You can see, hey, it's got different borders, it's got different art, but there's nothing protecting them from reprinting it, right? Now, of course, I understand that alpha and beta is going to be super high priced because it's an alpha and beta. There's such a low print run. But now there's millions of cards printed for each set. So there's nothing really stopping those cards. But when Chronicles got printed in a white border, it really devalued the card and made it different from the originals, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. An Arcades Sabbath from Chronicles is like a $2 card, whereas a Legends is still going to be like $50, $60 now. So there is a difference there. If Wizards did that, would it help the market? I'm curious. Because the last one I want to show you guys that kind of caught my eye is when you look at Jace the Mind Sculptor. Now, I have a World Wake edition. I remember opening when I opened World Wake. And I look at this and I go, regular editions are like $50 for the newer stuff. There's a slight difference if you buy the World Wake edition, like $10 added on, kind of like a premium, I guess. And then when you see over here, the new full art, beautiful, shiny, cool edition, it costs twice as much as a regular. Now, that means it has driven down the price of the regular editions. So is the full art the way to go to drive down the price of older ones, making them more affordable for players? I'm very curious to see what people think about that because it's quite a conversation. I think actually somebody commented in the poll too. I mean, at some point, Wizards are going to have to hold the line and have a discussion about it. Or do they? Can they just keep doing what they're doing and nobody cares? Because they got to do something about the other formats because Standard and Modern are getting totally slaughtered because nobody's willing to invest in the cards if there's no value 6-7 months after they've reprinted them. It's something to talk about. I think it's interesting. Please, guys, go ahead, leave comments in that comment section below. Let's have a discussion about it, all right? Thanks a lot for tuning in to this MTG Mox, man. I look forward to seeing you guys on the flip side as I mumble my words out of my mouth. Because, you know, it's a really cold day in Canada right now. And where I am in this basement, it is cold down here. All right, guys, have a great one. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Chill. Hey, guys, big shout out to all my patrons out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. And, of course, don't forget, we still have some box openings to come. Hopefully, it'll be a double video today. Looking forward to it. See you soon, guys. Have a great one.